Hey, what's up, guys? Kyle back with another video, and today I'm doing my Naruto review episode 74 review English dub. So, episode starts out with Naruto, Sakura, and Paku. We're trying to go after Sasuke and stuff like that. Paku stopped there, and he was actually saying something about Paku stopped there. Paku stopped there, and then Naruto was like, "Wait, what's going on?" And he fucking hits a fucking tree there, and he's like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on?" and shit like that. Why we're stopped and shit. And technically, Paku was saying something to Naruto and Sakura, saying Sasuke is on the move again. He's chasing after the two other vegetables and shit like that. And mostly the two other ones are fighting there. So technically, Paku was actually saying something to them, saying was just to fucking avoid them and stuff like that, and never get into it. Naruto just didn't really think thoroughly there, and he said, "What's like, wait, why we just can't go in there and just." He's like, "Why we just can't go full on and stuff like that." And then Sakura told Naruto saying like you're an idiot and shit like that. uh, Mostly she's saying if we go straight on there, we might actually end up in the crossfire and shit like that. So they they were saying something about that. He's like, don't act really foolish and stuff like that. So they said, and Naruto was like, oh, okay and shit. So they went the other way and stuff like that. The next scene we see uh, Konkoro fighting Shino there. Shino was saying something about his clan and stuff like that. How what type of clan he was in and shit. So uh, Konkoro just didn't give two fucks there about it. So he fucking opens up his puppet there. We find he opens up his puppet there and shit. So he attacks with the puppet there. He attacks with his puppet there. Shino was trying to like dodge it and shit. Technically, Shino gets hit by the puppet, but mostly it was technically a beetle clone there. So Shino actually used a beetle clone to get away and stuff like that. And then Conqueror was actually saying like, "Wow, you can actually turn one of your clones into bugs and stuff like that." So he was saying some stuff saying you can turn one of his clones into fucking bugs. And then uh Conqueror or Chino was gonna try to throw a punch right at Conqueror there, and he technically missed and stuff like that. So he missed there with his trying to throw a punch and stuff like that. Conqueror was saying, "Oh, he's like my puppet's only playing freaking nice and shit like that." So he did a poison. He did a poison stink, or he did a poison bomb there, or not really poison bomb, but poison gas there. He was like, "Shit, poison gas." So he had to fucking like jumped into like in higher ground just to avoid the gas, but he got a little bit in his system there. So he was like, "Fuck." He's like, "I got a little bit of this shit in my system and crap like that." So he was like thinking of how he's gonna offend that crap like that. And then he was like thinking like he's like, "I can't catch up to you, Sasuke," and shit like that. So the next scene we see Tamari taking Gara, trying to get him away and shit like that. And then Gara was saying, told Tamari to put him down and shit like that. And he's like, you can handle and shit. And he was kind of like breathing pretty heavily and shit like that. And fucking Tamari was like, oh, he's like, don't do this and crap like that. And then Sasuke was right there. And then he was actually saying, he's like, well, what it is and stuff like that. So technically, Gar is turning into the one tails there, or he's starting to turn himself into the one tails, and then and Gar is, or Sasuke was like, oh shit, that fucking thing again. He's like, that thing He's like, I've seen it in the radio and shit like that. So technically he was gonna go out of control and shit. Tamari was trying to stop Gara from doing it. He freaking hits Gara hits Tamari through a tree there, knocking her out. And Gar was attacking Sasuke there with with his like first form of the One Tails there and shit like that. So he attacks him with it, and he's like, "Oh." Sasuke is like, "Oh shit, how the fuck I can do this and crap like that." And he was like thinking up a strategy and shit. And he was trying to figure out how he can do this shit and stuff like that. The next scene there, we see we see Aruka was saying something about like about get everybody inside the building and stuff like that. You see Konohamaru actually was saying something to it. He's like, he was like, what is going on and shit like that. Then they, Aruka was like sort of trying to calm him down and shit like that, saying, "Oh yeah, it's fine and shit. He's like, we can handle this and shit like that." And then we see the third Hokage's face or stone face cracking there. We see his fucking face fucking cracking there, side of the mountain and stuff. They're like, "What the fuck is going on?" and shit like that. They were thinking about that. And we go back to the third Hokage fighting Orochimaru there, and technically, the third Hokage is trying to grab his soul and stuff like that. You see the third Hokage summoner or summoning animal actually was saying, "Just finish him off, just kill him and shit." He's like, "I'm trying to do that." When that was going on with that there, when that was going on with that, he was like, he was trying to pull the soul out of Orochimaru there and shit like that. So when that was going on with that shit, we go back to Shino versus Kankuro there. The next thing we go back to Shino versus Kankuro there. Shino was trying to put all his bugs around Kankuro's strings and stuff like that. he's like, how I can do this and stuff like that. So he whips them off and shit like that. He whips off the freaking Beatles and shit like that. And he was thinking like, "Oh yeah, I can stop him and stuff like that." Shino kind of looks like he was gonna get fucked there because the head was coming right towards him, and then he's like, you took out Crocker. He's like, "You took out my puppet's body, but he has a little surprise for you and shit like that." So he was ready to attack with his puppet again there. But it got stopped there. And then he got some fucking beetles in his hand. He's like, "What the fuck are these beetles doing on my fucking hand?" and shit like that. He was saying. And then he comes out of hiding. He's like, "Wait, what the fuck?" He's like, "I thought it was on." He's like, "I thought I whipped him off and shit like that." And then Shino was actually pointing out he put like a female beetle on his headband and shit like that. He's like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck?" And he's like, and he didn't really want to tell him like twice and shit. So it shows the flashback where Shino put that same thing on Sasuke there. So he was saying stuff about that. And then Shino or Kankuro gets swarmed by bugs, and Shino went down because of the poison in his body. And in the end of the episode, we see Gara attacking. Or we go to the next scene, or in the end of the episode, we see freaking Gara attacking Sasuke there with the One Tails, or part of the One Tails there. And then Sasuke is like, "Fuck, I'm screwed here." So yep, that's pretty much it. Comment, rate, more responsible to it. We like more videos. Please subscribe, hit the bell in case you want to see more uploads. Comment, more responsible to it. We like hang out. Out of your peace.